everyone, this is Utsav Pathak and welcome to the Pathak podcast. There is something special today. It's the very first episode of this podcast and I call it pilot. I call it pilot because it's just a fresh start, but most importantly we have two people with us who have piloted their career in a very good way. Like a good flying Airbus, right at the spot without any turbulence. That's how we are going to cover this today. So me along with Minal and Utkarsh, the three of us here will be discussing and going through a lot of topics. So let me get into this straight without further ado. So hi Minal, how's it going? Let's set up there.
It's going great.
Going great. So okay, so Minal, if I'm not wrong, you're an intern at the Intel Corporation, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And how did you get the job? I mean, how do you feel about working at Intel?
It is pretty good. I think I'm lucky enough to get into Intel at this point where semiconductor is really booming. So yeah, it's going great so far.
Okay, so are you like working remote or hybrid? How's it working?
Yes, it is completely remote.
It's completely
Yeah.
remote. So and which office are you reporting to?
Actually, they have assigned some virtual buildings to people who are working remotely. So yeah.
Okay, so it's like a mixed up scenario.
Yeah, but my team is based in Oregon.
Oh, nice. That's good. That's good. So Utkarsh, listen. Okay, so you're working at Argonne National Laboratory, right?
Yeah.
One of my favorite places. Whenever I'm a quantum enthusiast myself, and whenever I think about nuclear research and quantum computing, obviously Argonne National Laboratory comes into the picture.
Yeah.
How do you feel about working at Argonne?
So, so you want me to start with like how I got into Argonne or like?
No, I mean, how do you actually feel about it? We'll get like just.
So
your way
it is
around.
very overwhelming actually. So actually this question was asked to all the intern students by the person who was advising us that how do you feel about the first day, and everyone had the same emotion, that it was heavily overwhelming because everyone is at the top of their game from wherever they are coming from, but then everyone over there is just average in comparison to their peers, right? So, and people are just doing absolutely incredible work. So it has been, I'll say, very overwhelming. And as you know, the first day that I came to our home, I was like, so much of fire is going through my blood, because of whatever I felt over there. So yeah, that has been my.
That's an interesting thing to know. Oh, so talking about overwhelming, do you also feel a little overwhelmed at Intel or?
I do feel, but not as much as he does. Maybe because it's remote.
Yeah,
In person has a different vibe, I would say.
That could be a point in the picture,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
So for me, everything is virtual. Yes, I did meet a lot of interns. We had meetups as well. And on the very first day, I would say I'm the most. In spite of having experience, I feel I'm the most junior in the team because everybody at Intel is like, in my team, everybody is like 20, 25 plus years of experience. Intel tends to retain their employees and take care of them in a really good way, I guess. Yeah, people don't live in there.
That might have just got her the PPO. Okay, jokes apart.
So this is actually, I'll say, even in Argonne, it is because it is a government lab as well. There are people who have been working over there for more than 23 years. Like with respect to maybe Intel is an exception, but in most of the companies, people switch a lot.
Yeah.
But at Argonne and in government facilities, people just tend to continue way longer.
Yeah. Talking about continuance, so you both are graduate students at IIT. Even I'm a graduate student at IIT. And pretty much that's how we three know each other. Now let's come to what was your undergrad in Minal?
My major?
Yeah, your bachelor's degree?
Yeah, computer science.
Computer science?
Yeah.
And Utkarsh?
Mine was a little different. It was computer and communication engineering.
Oh,
so
okay.
that was the first, what do you call it, like course that our college started. It was a mix of ECE and CSE.
And ECE, just to be clear, as in electronics
and communication engineering. So basically we had the best subjects of EC and CSE. So all the
Oh, that must be fun.
The
So
tougher subjects
you
we
would
did
know
have.
the coding side as well as the, let's say, the circuit side, right?
the first part is correct, the second part is not correct.
Oh.
I don't know. Yeah. So let's say if I have, let's say, 7 subjects, out of which 5 is CS and 2 are EC, my 80% of that effort will go into just those 2 subjects.
Okay.
Because I'll say in any day CSE is at least.
That's where your interest lies in.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why that's easier.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a good point. I mean,
Yeah, that-
if you don't like something, how it can
It's
become
definitely
easier.
Yeah.
not, yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. So coming back, we see a lot of frames every day. We see a lot of perspectives, and that is what this segment is gonna cover. So where are you guys from? Like in India? I mean, just let me through with where were you born and what cities did you live in? I mean, just to get a gist of how have you reached Chicago?
Okay, so I'm originally born and brought up in Mumbai, and I've not been to many cities in India, but I visited Bangalore once
Oh.
for work. I used to work at Swiggy, so for just work thing in between the COVID time, I guess we had some meetups, so I went there, and yeah, I mean, Bangalore has really a very good vibe, I would say.
I've been there for 4 years and I really love the weather and the crowd.
Yeah.
Everything except the traffic.
Yeah, everything except the traffic and the rains,
Oh,
the floods. I experienced that. There was no rain, but there was flood. I don't know how.
oh.
Yeah.
Might have been because of all the construction, but I do
Maybe.
love rain.
Yeah.
So you don't like the flood, but you do like the rain.
I
No,
mean,
I
no one
don't
likes
like
the
rain.
flood. Come on, no one likes
I don't
flood.
like
No, I said she doesn't like the flood, but she might.
That's a disaster.
winter and summer is good.
Okay.
That's a good point. So, Utkarsh, I mean, I know that your father was in the army and he's still serving in the army. I'm sorry to say was. But, so you have lived in a lot of cities.
Yeah.
But what would you be your favorite aspects? Like, how would you define it yourself? Just to be quick about it.
So just a technical correction. My father is in DSF.
Oh.
Was in DSF. So
Okay.
it is a paramilitary, not army, but the discipline and everything is the same.
Oh, okay.
They just have little less powerful weapons. So basically they protect the borders. But then if like a war kind of situation occurs, then the army takes over.
Okay.
And you asked about my journey. So I was born when India was in a war with Pakistan, I think, in Kashmir,
And that was in the year.
2000-ish around.
Okay.
Okay, and then both of my parents are from Bihar, so I grew up like initial 4-5 years in Gaya in Bihar.
Oh.
And then because every 3 year posting will occur, right? Every 3 year posting will occur, so the students' education gets affected a lot. So my parents decided that I and my brother will stay in Ranchi with my mother, and my father will keep hopping.
Okay.
And so I did most of my education in Ranchi. And one more thing is that the school that I was in, it was completely boys' school till 10th.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I like the school because of the infrastructure, but this.
This thing would have been like sort of
Yeah.
so to say.
I mean, a 3-year-old, I think is considerable.
But you were there until the 10th class. So
Yeah, and then I gave JE and got into LMIT, and over there, so many of the seniors were into competitive coding. Like I'll say the buzz, the craze about programming and the coding is on par with IITs. And I say this because if you see on, let's say, code courses, the amount of people who are from IIT, Kharagpur and so on, the same number of people you will find from LMIT.
Oh, that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, so so my seniors will scold me if I don't do this. Competitive coding, I'll scold my juniors if they don't do this.
So it was sort of a very good programming culture, so to say, right?
It was a good and toxic programming culture.
Okay.
A little toxic, but overall, only the people who are forward, then ahead of you, they only know that why this is important. You might feel it is toxic, but only they know that it is important.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree to that.
Yeah.
So when we talk about coding and programming, there are a lot of other things that sometimes we focus on. So one of the things that I have always find interesting, or I've always found interesting, and something that I very occasionally read, is how the mental state of a person is defined by the environment they grow up in, right? And by the experiences they've had. Like the viewers over here might have had certain experiences to watch this video. Some might continue, some might drop in the middle. But that's one thing which I try to understand while having conversations with my peers, right? So the next question that I want to go at with is why computer science? I mean, why computer science for you? I mean, computer science, you might have got to know about it a little late. So my first question would be why computer science, and if not computer science, what would have been the alternate path? So Minal.
Okay, so that's a difficult question to answer, but yeah, I'll try to answer it. So my interest for computer science, like I never wanted to become an engineer since birth, but I was a lot into becoming a doctor, going towards medicine field. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to take science, of course, after 10th, but I wanted to do medicine.
Okay.
And but somehow, like I figured out, one incident happened with me, and I figured out that I am not capable of becoming one, was because I can't bear the smell of hospital.
Okay.
I tend to faint. So that was one fear I had, and which is why I dropped the plan of taking medicine. And then I grew up looking forward to my uncle, who is a software engineer, and I would say that in my whole family, from moms and fathers, both sides, I think my uncle was the most educated person in the house.
Okay.
So there have not been many educated people around me throughout my life. So I used to look after my uncle, and then I thought that I want to become what he's doing.
So that gave like a sort of stepping stone.
Yeah, correct. So that's where I started, digging into all this computer science and engineering, and what engineering to take, and how challenging it's going to be, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's where I started. And then after 10th, there's a moment, right, where you have to decide what you want to take.
Right.
And then I had this option that I have to take science if I'm doing engineering. And then I got to know from my brother. My brother is also into engineering. He is in AI and data science field right now.
Okay.
So he was studying at KJ Somaya, and he was into electronics. So I asked him a very simple question just coming out of school, and I asked him, why do I have to study PCM when I'm really just interested into computer science and engineering stuff? Why PCM? So he asked me, like he told me that this is the path and you have to go through this. And then he knew that 11th and 12th and getting into a very good engineering college in Mumbai is going to be very challenging. And he knew somehow, being a brother, I think he knew that I won't be able to take that pressure of giving all the entrance exam that we have, right? So, and he also wanted me to be in Mumbai. So getting a very good engineering college into Mumbai is very difficult. You need a really good score in your 12th and your entrance exam, CET and all those exams. So he knew it, and then he said that there is another way of getting into CS, which was doing diploma. So I have not done my 11th, 12th science. I went through the diploma approach, which is like 3 years of diploma. That is also doing computer science.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then doing my bachelor's of 3 years in the same field. So I have just done 6 years of computer science engineering throughout the time.
Okay, so so to say, I mean, you navigated your path through PCM somehow because you were already very interested in computer science. You did not want to tackle or lie around in the confusion of the PCM.
Yeah, you can say that. I mean, I was just interested into tech.
Okay.
And just studying about stuff which is related to computer science.
Okay.
So I thought that doing diploma, that path was a better decision for me, I guess. Yeah.
Nice. And Utkarsh, how did it go for you?
So for me, me and my brother used to be very heavily interested in tech. We used to watch all the interviews and podcasts of Neil deGrasse Tyson and Elon Musk. Back in the day when the Airtel used to charge like 250 rupees for 1 gigabytes of data, and we used to translate in 3GP quality so that we don't waste that much data. And then but now I think computer science is the most important thing, and now at this point I base my decision mostly on what is important and what is not important. So I think computer science is and this AI and so on, and why I am into this is because this is the most dominant force right now. It is going to affect most amount of industries and so on. So that is why right now I'm doing computer science. But before it was more on like my brother and I used to be super interested in computers and so on.
Okay, so it was more like a
Also-
technology fanatic thing, like you were into the technology.
Also like, even though he's a doctor in the ESF, but he is super interested in computer science.
Oh my
So
God.
he'll everyone around him, all the officers will be doing work by paper, will be doing the work on paper, but he'll be doing on computer, Excel, Microsoft Access, to whichever limit he can go to. So he was super interested in all
So
that.
genetic boost is also a factor, right?
Yeah, maybe. And Neil said that there are not a lot of people in her family who were very educated. Same is with me. So if I look at my father's side, then my father is, and his brother, is just elder brother. They are only educated, and no one, everyone else is doing farming. So it is the same. So that got me opportunity to pursue all this.
Oh,
First
that's
generation kids.
first generation.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, even like my uncle is an engineer,
Yeah.
but on my father's side and on my mother's side, most of the people have like diplomas or bachelors in alternative fields. Like they could be Ayurveda, like my father's degree in Ayurveda, and there could be people who have had like a diploma, technical course, so to say, rather than intensive study. So that's something interesting. That's an interesting viewpoint that comes from the first generation kids.
Driving force.
Yeah, the driving force question. That's very well put.
Also, I would say that whenever in my when I was in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, my brother and I used to debate with anyone on so many things. So once I remember, like my brother was explaining, we just learned about how Google does its searching. It has some spider mechanism, how it indexes all the pages and so on.
Oh, wow.
He learned that, and he was debating with the DIG of the whole campus that how this works, and the DIG met the male officers, the female officers, and then my brother and me used to sit alone, and then the head of the whole campus would come to us, and then he'll start talking to us, and everyone would like, who are these two guys? The officers, and then why is he
I
talking?
mean, it's fun to talk. I do feel there are a lot of people who have a very high age and they're interested in knowing stuff.
Yeah.
But there are very few people of our age who actually have the tolerance capacity to talk to them.
Yeah.
Because their question will start right from scratch. And it takes time, and it takes a lot of courage, and it takes a lot of retention to start from scratch and letting someone know about something.
Yeah.
And that tolerance, that build-up is really good.
Yeah.
That's a good point. So moving forward, my next question would be the one that I asked previously. Is if not computer science, then what is the alternative career path that you would choose? This is you both very cleverly escaped this in the answers, and I really want to hold you on that. So if you can go ahead.
Yeah. So I am into drawing, sketching, painting
Okay.
a lot. So now I've lost my hobby somewhere in this whole
The Russia.
yeah. So, but yeah, I really want to get hold of it again because I think that is my real. I feel that I really belong there more than where I am right now. So I think we all have that hobby somewhere.
We all have a small
Yeah,
child that
yeah.
we kill to make the man
Yes.
or the woman.
Yes, exactly. You got it right. So, yeah, I think if not a computer science engineer, I think I would be an artist, maybe having my own gallery somewhere.
Oh wow.
You know,
Something like that.
once I saw a video which was titled "The Art of Coding." So some people might say that even coding is art.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the book by Muth,
Yeah.
K-N-U-T-H. It's called The Art of Computer Programming.
Yeah.
It's a 5-series book.
Yeah.
It's known to be the Bible in history of
Yeah.
computer science. So yeah, that's very well put for the audience out there. If you're studying computer science and you want to get a gist of it, make sure you look up that book. So
And
Utkarsh, yes.
For me, I'll say I might have become a journalist.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I was crazy about the news. I still am crazy about the news. I used to the first app that I used to open when I was like maybe seventh or eighth grade used to be Twitter, and so yeah, I was way too interested in what is happening around the world and what is happening around my friends and family and so on. And even I had an analogy that the people who are most interested in the outer world are on Twitter, who are little lesser interested in, who are in between than family and the outer world are on Facebook, because it has family and it has the world as well, and who are least interested in the outer world are on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's very well put.
I think you can replace Facebook with Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I would have been a journalist, and I have some like this thing in me that I don't like always to just accept things as it is. So I have to like poke and question
You
things.
have a critical look at it.
Yeah, I have to critique. Even I thought once that if I open a newspaper, its name would be the critique.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Okay, and the building's architecture would be a pen, the nib of a pen.
Wow. Very, very classic,
Yeah.
so to say. That's interesting. When you said journalism, that is something I would have pursued if not computer science.
Yeah.
So when I gave JEE and I was applying for counseling, I wish I had gotten computer science somewhere, and that is what I was trying.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't have studied computer science, I would have taken journalism. I grew up watching TLC and Anthony Bourdain and everyone, which brings the good chef side in me. So if you see me at home, cooking very passionately, that's where that comes from. So there are 3 career paths that I would absolutely die for in my life. One is journalism, the second one is being a chef, and third one is computer science. And I think I cook for myself, that's the chef side in me. I'm doing this, which is the journalism side in me, and I'm doing the computer science. So my life is pretty much amalgamated right now.
Yeah.
That's a good perspective.
Also, I want to taste like a lot of things.
Okay.
Okay, so I also like making videos. I've made a film as well in the past with my bachelor's.
Or taste as try things.
What? Yeah.
Taste and try. Okay.
Yeah, and not only just try. So like I say, I want to be I want to go till the perfection. So like a lot of times people would come to like when I'm in the gym, I will ask someone that what is your goal right now in the gym, and they'll say, oh, fitness. If I don't bow when I'm old, like why? Why just that? Why just that?
Not just baseline survival, but to
Yeah.
achieve.
Yeah, like why not be the best if you're going to do something?
Wow. That's very good.
Yeah.
Very well put. Okay, so let's tone this down a little
Yeah.
and talk about Chicago, because we are in the Windy City. There's always a bit of thrill in Chicago, but there's also good weather. I was in New York last week, and although how beautiful New York is, I found it a little bit dirty. Chicago, on the other hand, is much cleaner. So, what is your favorite place in Chicago? Like, if you just go out on a day, catching a bus, where is somewhere you would drop and find solitude or peace?
I think I would go to the beach.
The beach, like just
Because
sit.
it is the closest, and I think whenever I want to maybe just chill or have a peaceful time, think through about things which is going on right now. We all went through a difficult time, I guess, finding internship, moving into a different country altogether, and a lot of other stuff, the baggage that we come with. So, yeah, I think we all need a place where you feel comfortable and peaceful. So, yeah, that's the beach for me.
Yeah, I think that would be answer.
And the river walk.
Oh, wow.
It's really good.
Yeah, that would be the answer of a lot of people, I think, in Chicago. So the river walk is the downtown area. Yeah, that's a good answer. Utkarsh, what about
You know, I was thinking of saying river walk, but she stole my answer. Okay, it's fine.
But you can always say the same answer. I mean, that means that we are really on a very good scale of intellectual connect over here. So that's a valid answer.
Yeah, but I'll say that, you know, if you go through the river walk and then you can see there is a small island which is called Northerly Island. And when I started, you know, I initially had a plan that I'll work out in the open. So I used to go through that, and then I found this island, and it is no one lives over there, and there is a stage over there, like artists perform as well, but now it is empty. And you can, I see it has the best view of the downtown Chicago.
You should take me there someday.
Yeah,
honestly.
please
Yeah.
let me know.
Yeah. So it has the, so you just cycle, and some random guy asked that, you know, what is this island, and he told that, you know, this place, and it has a small trek as well.
I think I know this place.
Yeah.
Another place that I love is, I usually go there for cycling, the Lakeshore Drive. It's a beautiful.
Yeah, Lakeshore Drive is beautiful.
Amazing.
Yeah, I've been there as well. You know, yeah, but you know, we should really hang out sometime and go to the Northern Island, take that.
What is Lakeshore Drive? Is it like north of Navy Pier? That part?
I think she's talking about the highway that we come along, like that trails. So one side is the Lake Michigan and the other side is downtown Chicago.
Yeah.
So when you come from the outer exit,
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So I usually take a bike from here, go to the 31st
Okay.
Street Beach,
Okay.
and from there till the Adlock Planetarium, I guess.
yeah.
Okay.
The whole drive.
Yeah, oh, that's
It's
nice.
really
That's nice.
Yeah.
For those who are not from Chicago or don't know about Chicago, you should really look this up because you will love the view out there. Also, I'll post the Instagram links in the bio, and if you ever go out, it will probably be there in the stories or the pictures. So to just break the third wall here. So, okay, Minal, because we have discussed the stuff, and we actually really want to know what your role is at Intel right now. So, what's your exact role? I mean, and what do you do? What tech stacks do you work with?
Okay, so I've joined Intel as a software engineer intern, and the tech stacks. So I'm working in the middleware team right now. So the tech stacks which the team uses currently are C#, .NET. Some projects are built on Golang, some on Python. There are a lot of Python scripts which are written because it's a middleware team. So yeah, and couple of Java Spring Boot applications, Kotlin applications. Yeah, so it's
So, your team, like, what sort of software does it work on? Is it like a distributed software? Is it for the Intel clients, or is it for the internal assessment teams?
Okay, so I'd like to put it this way, since it's a middleware team, so it usually works on building products which are internally used by Intel teams.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And are there any optimizations that are trying to carry out? I mean, you mentioned C# and .NET, right?
Yeah.
And they're pretty prehistoric. So, I mean,
Yeah, so Intel has been working on a lot of legacy tech stack. There are a lot of legacy products which are until now being used, but surprisingly they work really good. I mean, there's no need to modernize them, but the products which need modernizations are currently in the process. And I think I've joined Intel at a very good time, I would say, because modernizing the legacy products is the best time for the learning phase, I would say. The learning curve is really great because you get opportunities to build stuff from scratch,
Wow.
which is more important when you are, towards the start of your career, I would say. A very good building stone, I would say. Yeah, so
That's probably a very good answer. For working
I'd
in a
like
corporate.
I'd like to add one thing. So in my previous internship, the whole project it was completely under me. The whole complete project.
Was it like a startup?
Yeah, it was a startup.
Okay.
It was a startup. So
Yeah, they demand a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So the good thing is that you learn to take command of different things. Okay, and the outcome, it can't be like, sir, I made this. Now outcome someone else is handling. Okay, you have to deliver.
You have to be
whatever-
the end-to-end person.
Yeah, the
Right.
objective has to be done.
Okay.
So that is a very good thing to learn the whole cycle.
So coming from Intel to Argonne, the place, it's sort of a black box for people because people don't go to Argonne as much.
Yeah.
They only know the content that they read about outside. How has been your experience with Argonne? I mean, what technologies and tech stacks are you working on? And what is your role?
So we have huge supercomputers at Argonne. So before we had Polaris, which was a smaller one with only 2,000 GPUs. And-
I catch sarcasm.
Yeah, and then the bigger one, the Aurora, the world's largest supercomputer, it has 60,000 GPUs.
Wow.
60,000 Intel Max GPUs where Minal was. And basically, so if you go to the building that houses Aurora, you'll see chimneys and steam coming out.
Wow.
Because it is water cooled. So
Wow.
you're like, what is this? Is this
About last semester, I went to Argonne. There was an open visit, and I saw those blue and red pipes going through the supercomputers to
Yeah.
cool them.
Yeah.
It was fascinating.
Yeah. So the blue wire has the hot water, the cold water, the
Yeah.
hot water has the warm water. Anyway, so the thing is that basically the supercomputer we use to solve a lot of problems which are very compute intensive. So I'll give a very basic example. Let's say you're multiplying a matrix, and most of the visualization that we see, the computer graphics that we see, if something is looking like this from this angle, what will it look like from this angle? We do a matrix multiplication with something, and the pixels that we get is the view we'll get from this angle. That is what it is. And the same thing, there is a person called great professor from Canada, Professor Jeffrey Hinton, who is called the godfather of AI. He used for the first time GPU. He thought that using a GPU, because it has parallel processing, for deep neural networks will get it more efficient. So he used it for the first time, and now and he thought that because deep neural network is basically matrix multiplication.
Oh,
Yeah, and let's say you have a matrix and you have another matrix, and if you're multiplying them, then this row and this column, and then this row and then this column are two completely different calculations, which
Oh.
can be done on two completely different processors because they don't need to communicate.
yeah.
Right. So
I mean, you need to just close your eyes and imagine the matrix scenario.
Yeah. First row, first column, one processor.
Oh,
Second
yeah.
row, second column, another processor. Right. The same processor doesn't need to do it sequentially.
And these must be like really large rows and columns, like millions and
Yeah.
millions.
So let's say the Gemini has 2 million tokens allowed, right? You can write 2 million for like our purposes. It can take 2 million words, right? So the initial column length is 2 million,
Wow.
right? And then the total number of parameters can be in trillions. Is actually in trillions. In fact, we at Argonne will be building another GPT, which we call Aurora GPT, and it will be trained on a lot of research material, and it will be used for scientific purposes. So,
Fascinating. That's
yeah,
fascinating.
and we call it a trillion parameter model. And
Humongous. Like it's like a mammoth.
yeah, it will be bigger than GPT-3. GPT-4 is already a trillion.
For all those lovers, AI lovers out there, be on the lookout for the Aurora. Read up a little bit more. Now, getting into, we already know what roles you have. So, getting into how was your interview process like, right? So, Minal, if you would like to tell us that.
So my interview process was quite structured. I had to go through two technical rounds. and one behavioral with my manager. So yeah, the first technical round was purely based on coding, and those were, I think, easy to medium lead code questions, and yeah, purely just coding. They just wanted to see how well I logically think and solve problems, and my approach to solving problems. So yeah, that was about first technical round, and the second technical round was again a coding round, medium level question, and followed by a lot of technical work related questions, my past experience and stuff. So yeah, and the third one was majorly behavioral with my manager.
Okay, so was it more intense towards the data structures, or was it a very algorithmic thing, or was it just problem solving and they try to understand if given a problem you can find a good way to solve it?
Okay, so the answer to that question would be not a lot of organizations are really testing your data structure knowledge, but all they want to know about you is how do you solve a problem, what are your approaches to solving a problem, how fast you solve them, and are you able to code? Because I think in most of the cases, people have this fear of doing live coding in front of someone. If somebody is proctoring you, it's not that easy.
Yeah.
Because you might know a lot of stuff, but doing live coding is a different story altogether. So they just want to test those kind of stuff. Can you handle that pressure? How well you are going to perform in that situation? So they are purposely doing that, I would say. Yeah, so my interview was not focused on a particular data structure, but it was more on how well I code and what are my approaches to solving a problem and how fast or quickly I solve them. Yeah, and whether I'm using a correct data structure in the problem.
Oh, that's actually a very important thing, you know.
Because after solving a problem, they will ask you a follow-up questions. So they want to see whether you can optimize your own code. Are you able to find bugs in your own code? So it's not just about solving a problem, but a lot of other follow-up things.
Being the best at it, you know.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That's a very good point out there. I have also spoken to a lot of people before who have told me that they actually implement data structures, and then the interview asks them, maybe what if you can optimize this a little more? What if what is the current time complexity and can you make it a little bit better? That's one of the very important stuff that I've the most of people that I've talked to said the same thing, and we have another testimony from Minal. Let's go to Utkarsh. How was your interview experience at Argonne?
So I'd like to add one thing to what Minal said. So let's say if someone is watching while you are coding, then they expect you to think out loud. Okay, so you have to keep saying what you're thinking, the whole process. And so I remember in my bachelor's, I was giving an interview for some MNC in India, and he asked me, tell me, in a binary tree, I'll give you a node. To tell me the node which comes just before it in an in-order traversal. Okay, so at that time, I don't know why I couldn't think of an answer. It is such a simple thing now, if I imagine. But in the pressure, I thought that this is such a big company, the pressure and everything. I was like, okay, this must be really complicated.
You tend to overthink in those situations, right?
Not in general, but in that situation, I overthink. Yeah. So but later, I can tell you many different ways to do that. So that I missed on that. But anyways, I'm here today, so. So now coming to Argonne. So for my interview, I actually gave it in a washroom of Prairie Shores.
Oh my God! How did that turn out?
So
how did it happen?
So what happened was my professor told me to. He scheduled the meeting at 8 p.m. on a particular day in February, and then I waited till 7:55, 8, and it was past 8, and I didn't receive any email. So I emailed him back that I have not got any meet link. So he said, okay, fine, let's meet tomorrow 6 p.m. I'm traveling. He's actually from Romania, so he keeps traveling from Europe to America. So next day it was 4:30ish, and I was like, okay, fine, now it is 4:30. Now I don't think there is a possibility that he'll give me a Google Meet link and Utkarsh join, right? Because there might be a chance that a student might not be able to see, and then he won't take that risk. But it was 5:55, and at 5:55 I thought, and so by the way, I went to the gym then. I don't want to miss on my gym, so I went to the gym. So at 5:55 I thought, okay, let's check actually the music was not that good. So I thought, let's change the music. So I went to change the music, and I saw that there is a notification. I saw that, okay, it's his professor. He has sent me the meet link. He said, okay, Utkarsh, fine, join. So I thought that, okay, where do I go now? Because I'm in the gym. I don't want to make him wait. I can tell him that please wait half an hour. I'll go to my house. But no. So the only quiet place that I was able to think of was the washroom. So I went there, and luckily there was a power plug over there, and I always used to carry my laptop with me. So I gave my interview over there. I was super pumped. It was the most highly confident I was ever in an interview. Because
was it the adrenaline rush?
Yeah, so I was in the middle of my gym, so obviously I had that gym pump, and it went great. And so some of the things that he asked me actually in the interview was, he started with dynamic programming.
Oh.
Yeah, because actually I went through his profile.
That's a great state to start with. I mean, if someone starts with dynamic programming, you can only imagine where it would end.
Yeah. So he started with dynamic programming, and then he went into graphs and diagrams. Actually, I'll tell you how he progressed. Okay, through one data structure to another. So he started with dynamic programming, asked me an abstract. Okay, fine. And then he went into graphs. He asked me, do you know single source shortest path? I got my CDR diagram. He said, okay, what is the time complexity? I said, okay, analog and whatever. And then he said, why is it analog n or E log E? I said, because we use priority queues. He said, okay, the moment you say a word, he'll now dig into that.
That's how you navigate through it right now.
So he said, okay, what is priority queue? So I said, sir, actually I will implement it using something called sets in C. So he said, okay, what is set and how is it implemented? So now I had to explain both. So for priority queue, then I went into Fibonacci and binomial. For sets, it is red black trees and so on. Went into that deep. Now, while I was explaining these red black trees and so on, he asked me, do you know any other data structure which is similar to red black tree? and luckily, I took a class of design and analysis of algorithms, got a B. Two of the people that I taught got an A.
Guys, that has happened with me once, and that shit is crazy. I mean, the way you feel after that is crazy, but then you also know that maybe there is something a little better coming up ahead for you, which did for you,
Yeah. So the thing is that if you ask those two students who got an A, they'll say I'm better than them, right? Even they will say, but I got a B. So technically I'm worse than them. Anyways, so that day I thought that this actual knowledge, will it help me? I am better in reality, but on paper I'm not better, right? But the professor taught us skip list. The professor taught us binomial. Everything that he taught was asked in the interview. Okay,
wow.
Everything was asked. Okay, and I told the professor actually that I took his class, and if I would not have taken his class, I would not have learned about skip lists. And later I found out that in the work that he's doing right now at Argonne, he will be using skip lists because skip lists work better in concurrent environments. So that is why he asked me that question. And also, like Minal said, like you asked me that what kind of questions did he ask? I'll say that in an industrial environment, it is little different than an academic environment. The interviews that happens, because the professor first of all is your professor, so he is more emotionally connected to you as well. Also, he'll go more into the theory, right? Like, tell me about your data structure, black tree, this, that. Okay, rather than what tech stack do you use? How will you implement this? Okay, our company is.
Is it like more exploratory?
It is more exploratory. Also, as I said, like it is more theoretical. Do you actually understand this? you said priority queue. Do you understand this?
Can you dissect the algorithm?
And then he'll give you bits to, if let's say you are facing any problem, he'll give you some bits that, okay, think on this side, Utkarsh.
Wow.
Think on this side, okay. And so, that is how he progressed.
Interesting.
So, and then at the end of the interview, he'll give me a few things to learn for the next interview. And I have to learn it, and then again he'll give me some more things and so on. And later one day he said, how far do you live from Argonne? I said, I live in Chicago. He said, okay, it is 40 kilometers. He said, okay, you won't take an Uber to come to Argonne, Utkarsh, right? I said, don't worry about it. I'll take a plane. I'll come.
I just need this job.
I need this. Okay, it doesn't matter what I have to do. I'll take whatever. I'll run. Okay, it is actually 42 kilometers.
Wow.
A marathon is 42 kilometers. So, that's how it went.
The
Wow.
struggle is real.
The struggle is real.
Yeah.
When we talk, just to add like a little more stuff of my own, because we have two very different perspectives over here, right? Different ways of applying, different types of job roles, and different stuff that is actually going on. In my experience, my way of applying for the internship, I did almost 400 to 450 applications. Got a few callbacks, got a company who accepted me and then rejected me 2 days later. They were right, no, we are cancelling this position. Been to a lot of networking events, cold emailing in your case, applying and interviewing in your case. My case was completely different. This is a startup, and we were in talks, and we met, and we were discussing about a future product they were going to launch, and they wanted to know my approach. They said, we have this data set, we are trying to accomplish this. How would you, create a path? And I was like, maybe this is the way, and this is how I would approach it. And then he's like, but then, we are a company, so our work is research oriented. But being a company, we cannot spend as much as a researcher does.
I see.
So you need to find a middle way into it.
Yeah.
So it has been like a very different approach for all of us.
Yeah.
Just to keep this a little short, and for anyone out there who does not understand algorithms, you should really look into it. There are a lot of beautiful books out there. If you are not into books, there are a lot of beautiful videos out there. Delve into it, die a few times before you become a legend, so to say. One thing that I really love to ask anyone that I meet, what is your favorite food?
My favorite food, it's pav bhaji.
Pav bhaji.
Mumbai ki pav bhaji.
Mumbai, oh yeah, the very heart where things are born.
Yes.
It's coated with butter and all those.
Butter, cheese.
Oh my god,
A
wow.
lot of stuff.
This guy is a fitness enthusiast, but please don't let the fitness mind take over right now. Tell me, what's your favorite food?
I was going to say protein shake.
No, that's not an acceptable answer.
The only thing actually I really like what I am cooking right now.
Okay.
So what I do is I take some.
But if you get to go home, to
Okay,
India
okay.
or
Biryani, I love biryani.
you love biryani?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. I love biryani as well. I love all sorts of food, but something that's very calming to my heart is dal bhat chokha. Very typical of UP and Bihar, but it's wonderful. So okay, food is one thing that touches the soul, power the brain, and gives a lot of confidence to you in a sense when you start cooking. A little diversion from there, a very small segment about love, and since we all are growing up, we have been teenagers, and then we have been adults. So I have a very straightforward question on this. Have you ever been in love?
Yeah, a couple of times.
Couple of times? Oh wow. Utkarsh, what about you?
I'll say yes.
Yes. Okay. And coming from India to here, what is one point of time or one that number, the age number where you would like to settle in life?
Settle in life.
Like as in get married?
Okay. I think the sweet spot for me would be 28.
28. That's a very specific. I like specific answers. Utkarsh, anything from your side?
I'll say I'm like an ambassador for OnePlus, so I'll say never settle.
Okay, no, come on, let's be honest.
No, why do you want to settle? Like, for, at least from my perspective, I don't
Okay,
think
okay.
that is not the mindset.
A little bit of the.
that I have right now.
Did someone break your heart? Okay, let's not get into this. I'm sorry. We'll not get into this. We'll not get into
When did
this.
this become Karan Johar?
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Settling and everything. I think the sweet spot number for me, would be anything less than 30. I mean, anything that is in the even 29, 29.9, 29.11 is fine, unless it's 30. So, moving on. We have talked about tech, we have talked about food, we have talked about lives, and there are a lot of aspects that we have covered. And it's not like a hot hammer on anything, a metal or something, but none of us cracked IITs or IITs, right? And a lot of people out there, when they touch, they have seen that they're in a local college, in a private college or something, they feel like their life would end at it and they wouldn't be able to have the possible trajectory, right? Is there a really important point that you want to put out for them? That yes, there's still chance, life gives you enough chance if you're only on the lookout for it. I have a very popular quote from Harry Potter. Dumbledore says that Hogwarts is a place which can give you everything, but you just need to ask for it. I feel the same for America. You just need to ask, and it's like Hogwarts. So, Minal, what would be your advice for the people out there, who are still thriving, who are sometimes doubtful about their own capabilities and are scared that they wouldn't make it?
I think we are the best enemies of ourselves, I would say.
Wow.
We usually, tend to think about ourselves as very small. And when you try to achieve something, there will be times where you'll fail. That's gonna be there because it's the way how you learn things and you move on in life, right? So, you will have fallbacks, but you shouldn't think about, you shouldn't have a perspective wherein you think that, these are the reasons because of which I'm not able to move ahead in life. Rather than you should have a positive perspective to it, wherein you think about, this is just one failure. I'll try to grab other opportunities. I'll try to, communicate about things. Try to be in a community where you'll have your growth, right? Being in that community, being in that environment is way more important than anything, I guess. Just the way Utkarsh initially mentioned, right, that he had a programmatic environment in his undergraduation college. So that's how things go on, that's how you learn, that's how you discover where you belong.
Right, beautiful.
So, I think it doesn't matter where you're coming from. All it matters is try to be in the community, try to grab whatever is coming your way, because there's nowhere return that a good engineer or the best engineer is going to come from a very good college or he's going to be an IITian or something. It's nothing like that.
Right.
People are
Satya
born
Nadella
from-
himself is not an IIT.
Yeah.
Good point.
So,
Raj.
yeah.
Utkarsh, what's your take on it? What's your one piece of advice?
I think if the past is worse, or like if you're coming from an underprivileged position at any stage, let's say you crack Google being from an IIT and you crack Google being from any other smaller college, then your story is that you crack Google being from non-IIT college. So your story is that has more value, right? So if you
The bigger enemy
if
you
you're
face,
born
the
in a
better.
richer family and you became richer, that is your story. If you're born in a poor family and you became rich, then people will see the whole thing. Born, right? So, and I think everything is about stories, right? How much value that story has. So, and also one more thing which I was reminded about. Minal was mentioning, like, a lot of times we feel small, that we are very small. There was I think there was a speech by Neil deGrasse Tyson where he was mentioning that he gave a beautiful speech about, he was telling a lot of people about the scale of the universe, how huge, massive it is, and where we are so small, almost negligible, and no matter what we do, it doesn't make any effect to the universe. We are so negligible, and so everyone was getting, existential crisis. So he says, but then that actually I feel big, and he says that the atom that we have in our body actually were cooked inside massive stars. The heavier elements were cooked inside the massive stars. Literally, the atom that we have in our body comes from those stars that we see in the night sky. Literally, yeah, right. The smaller stars can't cook heavier elements. So all the heavier elements come from these stars. So, and there is a connection. And these are his words. These atoms. There is a connection that whatever we see around is in us as well. We are in the universe, but there is a universe inside us as well. Is what he said.
That's very beautiful put. I actually believe in cosmology. For anyone who knows me, if I get any chance, I talk about quantum mechanics and how it is related to.
I can watch for that.
You can watch for it. And I believe this is the absolute right point that all of us said. December was one of the lowest phases in my life. There were a lot of things that I faced for the first time in my life, at least college and masters. I failed a subject, and then my GPA fell down to 2.0. I had to do a lot of stuff, and then I got 2 semesters, and this right now at this moment my GPA is 3.0, which I'm happy with. I'm out of probation. But jokes apart, we all have lives, and we all should look forward to positive things. That is one of the ways, through knowledge, through discussions, that I want to put to the viewers out there. Thank you for staying with us for so long. I could have dragged this longer. There are still a lot of things that I could talk about, but this is probably the best point to end this. Thank you, Minal and Utkarsh, for agreeing to do this. I would really, get out of the frame and thank Siddhant, who has been at the back of the camera and being a very constant watcher for the content. It's been a great experience regarding this, and I would look forward to more such episodes, bringing people with more insight on every aspect possible. Thank you for staying for so long. Minal, me and Utkarsh are all three on LinkedIn, Instagram. I would probably put my Instagram in the bio. Any of them who agrees, I would put their bio as well. Make sure to connect with all three of us on LinkedIn. Hit me up with your questions. It might take a while, but rest assured that we will reply. On that note, thank you for doing this, Minal. Thank you, Utkarsh. Oh yeah, the office bomb is powerful coming from a gym guy. Have a great time ahead.
Let's do it again, and I'll be the interviewer.
I'll answer every fucking question.
You will SHIT.
Okay.